The story begins with the conversation between the protagonist of the story and a woman named Mrs. Darling. The scene is the entrance of Mrs. Darling's house. The protagonist of the story knocks at the door of the woman and she opens the door. So it is narrated how the protagonist was given a cold reception when she went to her native place after the war in search of her mother's belongings. Actually, it was like this, that the protagonist's mother, she had some antiques kept in this woman's house for safety and security during the time of war. But after the war, when the narrator or the protagonist goes to this woman's house to get her belongings, she was actually not received properly by the woman. After ringing the bell of house number 46 in Marconi Street, well, students, you must all remember this address. From here you can understand why the title of the story is The Address. A woman opened the door a little bit. She opened the door. The protagonist came closer to the woman and stood there. I hope you have understood so far. The protagonist introduced herself. What did she say? She said that she was Mrs. S's daughter. This was what she said to the woman. The woman held her hand on the door as though she wanted to prevent it opening any further. Now students, you just have to imagine how the woman had opened the door and how she had kept her hand. So this image has been described by the author through these expressions. Her response was negative. She kept staring at the narrator in silence. She didn't speak much. There was no sign of recognition on her face. So she looked at the narrator as if she was a stranger. Initially, the protagonist thought that maybe she had come to the wrong house. She had seen this woman only once for a short period of time in her childhood. So maybe she forgot the face of the woman, her appearance, and maybe she came to the wrong house. The woman moved aside and let go of the door. The narrator noticed that the woman was wearing her mother's green knitted cardigan. You know cardigan, it's a sweater, and that she was wearing. Now these type of sweaters have buttons in front. The wooden buttons had become pale because of the washing. Now the sweater, it has become old, and so the buttons have also turned pale. That was the time, that was actually the moment when the narrator could understand that she had made no mistake. What mistake? That is, she has made no mistake in coming to the woman's house. She was in the right place. She asked the woman whether she knew her mother. Now the woman could not deny this. There was no other way for her to escape. The narrator said that she was back after the war, but unfortunately she was all alone. This was the reply of the narrator to the woman. Her mother had died in the war. So now you can understand, students, that after the war, what was the consequence? The narrator was all alone. She was alive, but her mother was dead, and there was no one else in her family. Now the woman opened the door completely, or properly you can say. The narrator saw a passage behind the door. There was a stale smell in the house, or you can say there was some muddy smell in the house. The narrator wanted to talk to this woman for some time. She wanted to have some discussions with her, but the woman told her that she could do nothing for her, as it was not convenient to talk to her anymore. So the woman, she reacted as if she was very busy and that she could give no time to the narrator. She asked her to come later. The narrator in response said that she had come a long way by train only to talk with her, but the woman closed the door slowly and cautiously on her face. So just see, look at the woman's reaction. Still she didn't entertain her. Still she didn't tell her or allow her to come inside the house. Even she was not ready to talk to her. She closed the door in front of her. The narrator was still standing at the door. Then she observed a curtain moving on the window bay. Someone was staring at her from the window. The window is made of glass, so she could see someone staring at her. The narrator imagined that if the person staring, that is whoever was looking at her, would have asked the woman, that is Mrs. Darling, what the narrator wanted, that is why this lady had come to her house, that woman, that is Mrs. Darling, she would have replied that it was nothing. She would have just ignored the question that would have been asked to her. The narrator looked at the number plate again. It read, number 46, Darling, was written on the plate on white enamel. That means this address, it was written with black ink and it was written on a white background. And this address she observed again, she noticed again, because she was trying to confirm herself that she was at the right address.